What's it like when your job requires you to be hated? Veteran op-ed columnist Frank Rich knows this is Mediabeat.
Look, things change.
Anyone with a camera and a computer
Right
is
now,
a good
so
idea.
pay attention
What's
to
the
where
user
they
value
are.
proposition?
We evolve.
Thank you, Frank Rich, for being here. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about being a columnist, something you've been doing for quite some time. So today you're writing for New York Magazine, but in your farewell column from the New York Times, you said, "I always wanted to keep growing as a writer, not run in place." It was an old media mission I started to chafe at, talking about working there, and it was within the constraints of newspaper deadlines and formats. And I was wondering how your job now at New York Magazine differs from that.
Well, it's been almost a year, and I have to say it's wildly different. And after spending a couple of years of trying to figure out what I wanted to do next after really sort of beating my head against the confines of a column, it's worked out sort of better than I expected. Obviously, I write less frequently, but I write longer, and it's more like writing an essay, and you can stand apart from the news, back from the news a little bit, not feel if the president spoke on Thursday or a politician did something else on Wednesday. You have to be sort of a monkey on a string and react to that immediately. I really feel a bit reborn as a writer and enjoying writing more. The other thing that's different is that as a columnist at the Times and possibly at other newspapers, you don't have an editor. You have a copy editor that makes sure you didn't screw up your grammar and tries to check on factual accuracy or the standards of the paper, but you're a lone wolf. That's considered a good part of the job, and for a while I thought it was, but now I have a couple of editors that are fantastic. I feel like I'm in a little bit more of a newsroom setting than you are as a columnist on an op-ed page.
Well, that's kind of interesting too that you talk about the timing and not having to react quite so quickly. I mean, that seems to be where journalism and where media is right now, is the quick reaction. So, I mean, how do you balance the needs of a quick media with now your newfound rebirth as a slower journalist?
Well, what's interesting is that's a very good question. What's interesting about a column like the one I did at the Times is it's neither here nor there. It's not the longer view, but in the age of Twitter and Facebook and blogs, it's not the quick view either. And so I find in terms of immediate reactions, if I'm really dying to mouth off about something, I can do it. I can do it through the New York Magazine website. I can do it through Twitter if I want. I can do it on television or other media, but I have the best of both worlds because with the writing, which I care about most, I can take the longer view and step back at least a little bit.
Now, being a columnist, it can be a very polarizing thing, what you're writing and people's reactions. How do you deal with intense criticism? I was called the Butcher of Broadway when I was a drama critic. I've always had intense criticism. My feeling is that you have to tune it out, because if you don't tune it out, whatever opinion you're writing, you could be writing about politics, the theater, sports, television, doesn't matter. If you start to think, oh, well, people like me, you'll never have an opinion about anything. It'll always be on the other hand, or one hand on the other hand, always be, oh, this play isn't so bad really, even though I was bored, stiff, or this politician means well, even though I think the policies he or she is promoting are reprehensible. So you have to just tune out the praise and the criticism. But you do have to take opposing viewpoints into account, or can you dismiss that also?
Oh no, you definitely do. You have to, otherwise it would be a total bore. I mean, I like listening to the other side. I often disagree with the other side, but my views are slightly, I trend liberal, they're quirky on some things. I'm attacked by Obama fans a fair amount, as well as Mitt Romney fans, but that's fun. I mean, it's no problem at all, and that's what makes it interesting.